There is something quietly powerful about films that do not rush to impress. Instead of relying on dramatic twists or loud emotions, they invite the audience to slow down, observe, and feel. This film belongs firmly in that category. From its opening moments, it establishes a gentle rhythm, one that mirrors the reflective atmosphere of a New Year's celebration, where people naturally pause to look back, look forward, and quietly hope for something better. The story introduces us to Yuto, an ordinary young man whose emotions are deeply relatable. He is not portrayed as heroic or overly confident, but as someone thoughtful, reserved, and emotionally sincere. Nana, meanwhile, is presented with warmth and subtlety, not as an idealized figure, but as someone approachable and genuine. Their connection does not begin with grand gestures. Instead, it grows from familiarity, shared space, and unspoken understanding. This approach immediately grounds the film in realism, making it accessible to viewers of all ages. What makes the setting particularly effective is the New Year's Fireworks Festival. Symbolically, fireworks represent hope, transition, and fleeting beauty. The film uses this backdrop not merely for visual appeal, but as an emotional framework. The excitement of the festival mirrors Yuto's inner anticipation, while the countdown to the new year subtly reflects his internal struggle, the desire to speak honestly versus the fear of disrupting what already exists. This psychological tension is handled with restraint, allowing the audience to recognize similar moments from their own lives. It is worth noting how carefully the film builds emotional trust with the viewer. There is no pressure to feel a certain way. Instead, the film creates space for reflection. Small details, such as shared glances, pauses in conversation, and moments of quiet companionship, are given narrative importance. These details reinforce an important educational idea. Meaningful relationships often develop through consistency and attentiveness, not dramatic declarations. The choice to place the group of friends together during the festival is also significant. It reminds us that love does not exist in isolation. Social environments, shared experiences, and supportive friendships all influence emotional growth. By including Nana as part of Yuto's friend group, the film subtly explores the complexity of expressing personal feelings without disrupting harmony. This is a situation many viewers, especially younger audiences, can learn from in a healthy and constructive way. Visually and emotionally, the film maintains a warm tone. The city lights, the anticipation of fireworks, and the rooftop setting create a sense of elevation, both literal and emotional. Yet the film never suggests that happiness must come from perfection. Instead, it hints early on that real growth often comes from uncertainty and patience. This message is particularly valuable in today's fast-paced culture, where emotional outcomes are often expected to be immediate. This is not simply a story about romance, but about emotional readiness. It gently poses an important question without forcing an answer. When is the right time to speak from the heart? Rather than offering immediate resolution, the film encourages viewers to sit with that question, making the experience both engaging and quietly educational. The fireworks festival is no longer just a backdrop. It becomes the emotional deadline Yuto has quietly set for himself. The decision to watch the fireworks from the rooftop of a high-rise building is particularly meaningful. Elevated above the city, the characters are physically removed from everyday noise, symbolizing a rare emotional space where honesty feels possible. As the fireworks begin, the film carefully builds its emotional peak. The colors in the sky mirror the complexity of Yuto's feelings, excitement intertwined with uncertainty. He is surrounded by friends, yet emotionally alone in his decision. This moment highlights a key educational theme of the film. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Yuto is approaching a personal turning point, one that could redefine his relationship with Nana. Then, the unexpected rain arrives. Rather than functioning as a dramatic obstacle, the rain is portrayed as a natural interruption, calm, unavoidable, and emotionally symbolic. It washes away the carefully imagined confession, reminding viewers that life rarely follows ideal timing. Importantly, the film avoids framing this moment as failure. Instead, it presents it as a pause, reinforcing the idea that delayed outcomes are not necessarily negative ones. Yuto's reaction to the rain is telling. He does not express frustration or disappointment outwardly. Instead, he shifts his attention to Nana's well-being, offering her a scarf to protect her from the cold. This small gesture carries significant emotional weight. The film uses this moment to redefine emotional strength as empathy and consideration, qualities that resonate positively across age groups. Nana does not immediately verbalize her feelings, but her awareness of Yuto's kindness is clearly conveyed. This mutual, unspoken understanding underscores another educational element. Emotional communication is not always verbal. Respecting boundaries and emotional pacing is shown as a sign of maturity rather than hesitation. That meaningful moments often exist quietly within ordinary routines. The rain, the missed confession, and the gentle care exchanged do not close the emotional arc, but deepen it. The film successfully reframes what could have been disappointment into emotional preparation. It teaches an important, constructive lesson. Timing matters, and patience can preserve sincerity. Rather than rushing toward resolution, the story allows space for emotional growth, encouraging viewers to value kindness, awareness, and emotional responsibility over immediate outcomes. The fireworks have faded, the rain has passed, and what remains is a lingering emotional question for Yuto, whether silence is safer than honesty. This internal dilemma forms the emotional core of the film's dramatic movement. He does not withdraw, nor does he pressure Nana or himself for immediate clarity. Instead, he acknowledges his feelings with calm determination. Yuto finally chooses to express his feelings. The moment is intentionally understated. There is no dramatic music or exaggerated reaction. The simplicity of the confession aligns with the film's overall philosophy. Sincerity does not need spectacle. For Nana, her acceptance is portrayed with warmth and clarity, avoiding any implication of pressure or surprise. The film avoids presenting love as something sudden or overwhelming. Instead, it depicts it as a shared realization that has been gradually forming beneath everyday interactions. Yuto's decision to speak openly does not disrupt his world. Instead, it strengthens his connection with Nana. The film quietly affirms that when individuals act with sincerity and empathy, emotional challenges become opportunities for connection rather than sources of regret. In its closing moments, the film gently brings the audience back to where it all began. The rooftop, now no longer defined by anticipation or uncertainty, but by understanding. This return is not about repeating the fireworks, but about redefining their meaning. What once symbolized fear of speaking now represents the quiet reward of honesty. The film leaves viewers with a clear, educational reminder that sincerity, patience, and respectful courage are often the true beginnings of lasting happiness. If this story resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on the quiet choices you make every day. If you believe stories like this can inspire healthier relationships and thoughtful communication, support the channel by liking the video, sharing it with someone who may need it, and subscribing for more meaningful film insights that help us learn, reflect, and grow together.